Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, April 20th, 2020. Today I'm going to recap the first two episodes of The Last Dance documentary, latest coronavirus news, a lot of NFL news I want to touch. I want to talk about the home concert from the weekend, who made the top 20 out of those two that they said that they couldn't decide on. My latest NFL mock draft, and my top 10 songs of the calendar year 2017. Alright, I'm going to start The Last Dance. Great first two episodes. The first one, they showed a lot of the dysfunction that was going on in the Bulls front office in the final season of the dynasty. And they also showed Jordan in Carolina and how he got better from his freshman year to his sophomore to his junior year. And you saw a lot of interviews with the likes of Roy Williams and a lot of people from Carolina. You saw Jordan's parents. You saw a lot of Phil Jackson, a lot of Jerry Reinsdorf, a little bit of David Stern, a little bit of Jerry Krause. So they obviously filmed this before Krause's passing and before Stern's passing as well. And you saw a couple of beloved deceased former sports people in this documentary within the first two episodes. But yeah, I thought the first episode was outstanding. The second episode was outstanding as well, which was about Scottie Pippen's life and how he went to a small school and how he became the player he became, and how he originally started off as like a manager or something, and then they were losing people, and then Scottie said he was interested in playing, and then he got really good, and obviously he's the best player to ever play at Central Arkansas, and then how Seattle drafted him, and then Chicago wound up trading for his rights, and then how him and Jordan became like such really good teammates, and Jordan was saying how he only wanted to play with Scottie and play with Phil Jackson as his coach. So yeah, first two episodes were really, really good, and then you'll see episodes 3 and 4, which we'll preview on Friday's podcast, and then it's going to be 2 episodes per night, 5 weeks. There's 10 episodes altogether, so it is going to be absolutely a joy to watch these next couple of weeks. Now I want to discuss UFC targeting May 5th for a possible return. I think that it's not realistic. I think that's going to get pushed back. Maybe to June, I could see potentially, but I think May 3rd is a little too soon. A couple states are reopening already because the cases are not severe like they are up here in the tri-state area. So if UFC were to return, they would have to obviously go to a state that's not big in terms of the coronavirus totals in that state. And then the Arizona baseball rumors are still around, obviously. The NBA is optimistic that they'll come back. Wayne Gretzky made a comment about how he thinks hockey will be back by the summer. I agree with Gretzky on that one. And I think the sports that are going to come back first are going to be golf, basketball, and hockey, and I don't think you'll see baseball until maybe July, August, September, and October for the regular season. Maybe they start on the 4th of July. I think that is realistic that baseball's back for the 4th of July, and that NBA and hockey possibly a little bit before that. And then the playoffs for baseball in November, and they'll be going up against the NFL in November when it's really heating up at that point. And then maybe you'll see the World Series on Thanksgiving or something like that. So there's a lot of options on the table for sports. Obviously, NASCAR's doing the iDriving. And that's actually being aired on TV with Mike Joy and Jeff Gordon doing the commentary. So that is actually pretty neat. And I think NASCAR will be back for real in June as well. And I think there's a chance that they start, again, in a state or at a track in a state that is not big in terms of coronavirus total diagnoses. So that's that in terms of coronavirus and possibilities of when sports may return. All right, now I want to discuss some latest NFL news. Jaguars making a lot of news. Leonard Fournette is available for trade. I think they're going to flat out release him, just like the Rams had to do with Todd Gurley. And that is because a lot of teams devalue the running back position. Maybe the Dolphins trade for Fournette, who knows? If anybody does, I think it's going to be the Miami Dolphins, and they'll probably trade like a 4th-round pick for him. And that, to me, because of how devalued the position is, I know the Dolphins just have a need there to go with Jordan Howard because of how bad their running backs were last year, and I don't think Howard's all that special. So I think the team that's most likely to pull off a trade would be the Miami Dolphins. They're in-state rivals. Maybe Jacksonville gets like a 3rd-round pick or a 4th out of it, and they'll call it a day. I think it's a huge win for Jacksonville if they get a second. They have 0 chance of getting a 1st. I think the Rams could have gotten a 2nd or a 3rd for Todd Gurley, but nobody was willing to give that up because they extended him already. And then the Jaguars obviously have not extended Leonard Fournette yet, so I think they're able to at least get something for him rather than flat out releasing him, which I also think is possible. I think they might end up flat out releasing him, and I think that is more likely than a trade, even though that the reason why Gurley was released because the Rams paid him before they decided to get rid of him. And then the Jaguars got rid of Marquise Lee today, so that's a surprising cut before the draft. So now they're obviously a candidate to draft Jerry Jeudy 9th or Justin Jefferson at 20 or like Brandon Ayuk or somebody like Jalen Reagor or Denzel Mims in the 2nd round or Michael Pittman in the 3rd round. So the Jaguars are now a wide receiver candidate in the draft. And then the smokescreen, in my opinion, came out a couple hours ago regarding Justin Herbert and how Joe Judge of the New York Giants had a FaceTime with him. My take is that maybe they did that just so they could scare off the teams that are interested. Every year you see teams that don't need quarterbacks talk to these quarterbacks. Like, I remember the Patriots a few years ago talked to Lamar Jackson. And at that time, Tom Brady was coming off an MVP season. They didn't need a quarterback. So that happens sometimes. And you see the Steelers talk to guys. And you see other teams that really haven't needed quarterbacks in the past talk to guys. The Saints. But now the Saints might need a quarterback because, or at least for the future, because all indications are that Drew Brees is retiring at the end of the season. So I just think the Giants did that just to do due diligence and whatnot, if they actually did do it. But in reality, I think it's a smokescreen to try to get the Chargers or the Dolphins to trade up to their pick and take Justin Herbert or Tua Tagovailoa. And I won't be surprised if the Chargers leak this out and making up that the Giants did this. I won't be shocked if the Chargers were the ones that said that the Giants spoke to Justin Herbert and they're making that up so they can spook the Dolphins into them thinking that they're going, that the Giants might actually do it, but because everybody knows that Dave Gettleman is a bad person in terms of smokescreens. He tends to tell the truth rather than do smokescreens. But this year it looks like he's trying to pull off some smokescreens because they clearly don't need a quarterback. They're happy with Daniel Jones, and they are clearly doing this to spook out the Chargers and the Dolphins, or maybe even the Jaguars if they want to take a quarterback. Now I want to discuss the Together at Home concert that was put together by Lady Gaga, believe it or not, and hosted by Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, and Jimmy Fallon. It was a great show. One World Together at Home. Lady Gaga opened the show by performing Smile by Nat King Cole. I think she did outstanding, as she always does. And she's somebody that's very good at performing covers and performing other people's songs with the other people. Like, she performed Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me with Elton John at a benefit concert a couple of years ago. She made a surprise appearance and sang that song with Elton. Like, she's very good at that. So, great performance by her. Robin Roberts had a message. Stevie Wonder sang Lean on Me for a Bill Withers tribute. Paul McCartney performed Lady Madonna. Casey Musgraves performed Rainbow. I think that's a beautiful song. Usher had a message. Abby Kadabi of Sesame Street had a message. David and Victoria Beckham had a message that introduced Elton John as he performed I'm Still Standing outside of his house with a basketball court. I thought that was kind of funny with his little background, but like I said, it's a home concert, so you're going to be seeing funky backgrounds throughout some of these performances. The Roots performed Safety Dance. I thought that was really good. And Safety Dance is obviously not their song. Safety Dance is obviously an 80s song by Men Without Hats. Manuva performed Carnival. Chris Martin of Coldplay performed Yellow, and Yellow was one of the original Coldplay songs. Ellen DeGeneres had a message. The Today Show crew had a message, including Hoda. Amy Poehler spoke. Renata Alexis spoke. And introduced Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes as they performed a cover of What a Wonderful World. Beyonce had a message. Eddie Vedder performed River Cross. LL Cool J spoke and introduced Lizzo as she performed A Change Is Gonna Come. I thought Lizzo had a good performance. Alicia Keys spoke. The Rolling Stones performed Get What You Want. Laura Bush had a message. Keith Urban performed Higher Love. Melinda and Bill Gates spoke. Oprah spoke. J-Lo performed a song called People. Awkwafina spoke. Priyanka Jonas was on there as well. John Legend and Sam Smith performed Stand By Me. BGA performed Wake Me Up When Summer Ends. Kerry Washington spoke. A lot of other people spoke. Billie Eilish performed a song called Sunny, which isn't one of her bigger songs. Taylor Swift performed Soon You'll Get Better. I thought that was very good. Oscar the Grouch of Sesame Street also had a message in this show. And at the very end, Celine Dion, Lady Gaga, John Legend, among others, did a tribute performance at the end of the show, which I thought was very good. All these performances I thought were awesome. I really loved Lady Gaga performing Smile. I thought that might have been the best one. I thought Camila Cabello and Shawn Mendes did well. I saw people on social media that didn't think Elton John did a great job. I thought Elton John did very well. Because he just is awesome. So I thought he did well. I thought Taylor Swift did well. I thought J-Lo did well. But yeah, those are the ones that stood out to me. Oh, and of course, the Roots doing the Safety Dance was a good one as well. All right, last night they announced who the final contestant on the American Idol Top 20 was. as they did it virtual style. Both the girls were from home, and Ryan Seacrest did it in classic American Idol style. The votes are in, and the girl who advanced to the top 20 was Grace. So Grace moves on. I thought she was really good, and now she moves on to the top 20. Like I said, I thought Idol had a tough decision on their hands a couple weeks ago when they did this, and they even said it themselves that it was a hard call for them as for who to pick to go on to the top 20, but they wound up picking Grace, and she'll move on with the rest of the other good contestants like Sophia Wackerman, Just Sam, and everybody else that is indeed in the top 20. And I can't wait till they start airing these shows live once COVID's gone, because I personally feel that all these singers are very talented, and I think that there could be some surprises along the way that stay and some surprises that go home. So this is a deep group, and I said it on the previous weeks on this show that they had to send home some good singers. So a deep group, as Grace gets the final spot in the American Idol top 20. Now I'm going to do my latest NFL mock draft. Some changes from the last one. This is obviously the week of the draft, 3 days away. So this is smokescreen season. If you hear any weird rumors, then it could be smokescreen, it could be real. But don't forget, on draft day, it was announced that the Browns were going to take Baker Mayfield, like, before the draft actually started. It got leaked out. And it's funny, because every year we normally know who's going number one. Like, this year, it's obvious it's Joe Burrow. Last year, it was kind of obvious that it was Kyler Murray. 3 years ago, it was kind of obvious it was Myles Garrett. And in the year before that, it was pretty obvious that it was Jared Goff, as the Rams traded up to that pick, and then Carson Wentz was going second as the Eagles traded up to the number 2 spot. So without further ado, here's my 8th NFL mock draft of 2020. Number 1, Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow, quarterback, LSU. After the breakout year that led him to the Heisman, Burrow emerged as the favorite to go first overall. The Bengals want to move on from Andy Dalton and start fresh year at Burrow, whose second-year coach Zach Taylor could help develop into the franchise quarterback the team is looking for. 2, Washington Redskins. Chase Young, defensive end, Ohio State. Young is the best player in this draft, and he falls one spot due to the Bengals' quarterback need. The Redskins need a lot of young talent on both ends of the ball, and Young would have an immediate impact in the league, chasing the likes of Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz, and Daniel Jones twice a season. 3, Detroit Lions. Jeff Okudah, cornerback, Ohio State. This is an interesting spot because this is a spot where someone could trade up for a quarterback and the Lions can get a nice haul back. The Lions are a team that are in dire need of secondary help after the trading of Darius Slay, and Okudah is the best defensive back in the draft. Although you can argue that they should take Derek Brown of Auburn due to their need on the interior defensive line. 4, New York Giants. Tristan Wirfs, offensive tackle, Iowa. The Giants have some options here as they could stay at 4 and take a lineman or Isaiah Simmons or a possible trade down, which I think the Giants are trying to do. Wirfs is someone that has tremendous upside and is versatile and is perhaps the cleanest offensive tackle prospect in the draft. He would certainly help protect Daniel Jones and find holes for Saquon Barkley. 5, Miami Dolphins. Justin Herbert, quarterback, Oregon. There's always a saying, when there's smoke, there's fire. That feels like the case here as the Dolphins pass on Tua Tagovailoa for Herbert due to the health concerns of Tua, who they loved a year ago. Herbert could have declared last season but stayed at school one more season to try to improve his stock, but I feel he would have been a first-round pick last season too. 6. Los Angeles Chargers. Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback, Alabama. The Chargers take their chances and select Tagovailoa here after the Dolphins select Herbert. Tua was the consensus number 1 overall pick and prospect in this draft before his hip fracture in November, and if he proves to stay healthy and is the same guy he was before the injuries, the Chargers land themselves a franchise guy. 7. Carolina Panthers. Derek Brown, defensive tackle, Auburn. The Panthers once had a great defense, but now it looks like a unit that needs reinforcements. Brown is somebody who was rare for his size, but always was a steady player in college and would be a nice building block in Matt Rule's first draft. 8. Arizona Cardinals. Jedrick Wills, offensive tackle, Alabama. The Cardinals could consider Derek Brown if he is still on the board, but in this scenario he's gone, and they take the talented lineman. Wills is someone that could go as high as 4th to the Giants due to his blocking ability and would keep Kyler Murray upright. 9. Jacksonville Jaguars. Mekhi Becton, offensive tackle, Louisville. The Jaguars have a ton of needs and can go in a numerous number of directions. Here I have them taking the talented lineman in Becton, who has tremendous upside but has technique flaws. If he fixes his technique, he can certainly help protect whomever starts at quarterback for them. 10. Cleveland Browns. Isaiah Simmons, linebacker, defensive back, Clemson. The Browns do have a needed offensive tackle, but I don't see them passing on Simmons if he falls to this point. Simmons can play anywhere on defense and can play multiple positions well. 11. New York Jets. CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver, Oklahoma. The Jets could go wide receiver to give Sam Darnold much-needed top receiver, or take a lineman if one of the guys they like falls to them to protect Darnold. Lamb is someone that has a high upside and has great hands, body control, and is a solid route runner. 11. Las Vegas Raiders, or 12. Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver, Alabama. John Gruden is doing backflips as Jeudy falls into his lap. He is a fantastic route runner, and many folks have drawn comparisons to Calvin Johnson due to his tremendous upside. He'd certainly turn into Derek Carr's top option. 13. San Francisco 49ers from Indianapolis Colts. Henry Ruggs, wide receiver, Alabama. The Niners have some options here as they take the talented receiver. Ruggs is someone that would be a nice fit in Kyle Shanahan's offense with his solid route running and the fact that he is clean and does little things. 14. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle, Georgia. Thomas was someone I had highest in this mock draft at number 4, but his stock has dropped a bit due to some flaws of incorrect footwork, possibly. This would be a win for Tom Brady regardless, as he gets much-needed protection. 15. Denver Broncos. C.J. Henderson, cornerback, Florida. There's a lot of buzz that Henderson could go in the top 10, maybe as high as 9th to Jacksonville. The Broncos snagged the talented corner here to replace the departed Chris Harris Jr., and Henderson could start for them right away. 16. Atlanta Falcons. Javon Kinlaw, defensive lineman, South Carolina. With Henderson off the board, the Falcons snag Kinlaw, who could be a steal here at this point. Kinlaw is someone that is super versatile and would help Takaris McKinley, Garrett Ray Jarrett, and new addition Dante Fowler Jr. on that defensive line. 17. Dallas Cowboys. K'Lavon Chaisson, defensive end, LSU. Edge rush and cornerback are two of the Cowboys' biggest needs after Byron Jones and Robert Quinn bolted as free agents. They choose to go with Chaisson to pair alongside DeMarcus Lawrence, who is raw but was a sack machine in college. 18. Miami Dolphins from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Austin Jackson, offensive tackle, USC. This pick would be a reach, and you can make a case that Jackson could have benefited for returning to school, but he decided to go pro early, which isn't a bad choice necessarily. Jackson is someone that stood out this past season and could come in and start right away for a team that needs to protect their quarterback at all costs. 19. Las Vegas Raiders from Chicago Bears. Patrick Queen, linebacker, LSU. Queen is someone that is a super fast riser as the draft comes this week. The Raiders have needs all over their defense, and Queen, despite being undersized, he can play 3 downs and has great speed. 20. Jacksonville Jaguars from the Los Angeles Rams. Kristen Fulton, cornerback, LSU. This would be a solid pick considering they have a need for a corner, considering they dealt away Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Boyd within the last 6 months. Fulton is someone that has size and athleticism and is someone that was always a patient player. 21. Philadelphia Eagles. Kenneth Murray, linebacker, Oklahoma. The latest buzz is that the Eagles may take a defensive player rather than a wideout here due to the receiver depth in this draft. Murray is someone that is a dynamic playmaker and fills a defensive need for the Eagles. 22. Minnesota Vikings from the Buffalo Bills. Jalen Johnson, cornerback, Utah. Johnson is one of the fast-rising corners as we head closer to the draft. With Xavier Rhodes, Trey Waynes, and Mackenzie Alexander all gone, the Vikings fill a major need with someone that has tools and would fit nicely in Mike Zimmer's scheme. 23. New England Patriots. A.J. Epineza, defensive end, Iowa. The Patriots are a bit of a wild card in this draft and could go in many different directions with this selection, whether it's a quarterback, a defensive player, or a trade down. Epineza has shown to be versatile and has great length and athleticism, similar to ex-Patriot and current Lion Trey Flowers. 24. New Orleans Saints. Jordan Love, quarterback, Utah State. The Saints have been rumored to first-round quarterbacks the past few seasons, and here I have them snagging Love to be the long-term replacement for Drew Brees, who a lot of people think is retiring after the 2020 season. Love is one of the biggest boomer-bust prospects in the draft and is super raw. 25. Minnesota Vikings. Justin Jefferson, wide receiver, LSU. The Vikings snagged Jefferson here with their second first-rounder to replace Stephon Diggs. Jefferson had a breakout season this past year, catching so many passes from Joe Burrow and made big plays when it mattered the most. 26. Miami Dolphins from the Houston Texans. DeAndre Swift, running back, Georgia. The Dolphins have some options with this selection, and here I have them taking the talented back. Swift is someone that will come in and be an upgrade over what they currently have, assuming they do address their offensive line with other selections. Swift could really help this offense, and with his speed and catching ability out of the backfield. 27. Seattle Seahawks. Yetur Gross-Matos, defensive end, Penn State. Gross-Matos' stock has dropped after being projected in the top 15. The Seahawks have a pass rush need, assuming they don't bring back Jadeveon Clowney, and Gross-Matos would help the cause with his good length and speed. 28. Baltimore Ravens. Zach Baun, linebacker, Wisconsin. Baun is somebody that admitted today that, or the other day I should say, that he tested positive for a deleted sample, which could hurt his draft stock. The Ravens have a need at the linebacker position, and Baun would be a nice fit with his athleticism to drop and cover. 29. Tennessee Titans. Ross Bladlock, defensive tackle, TCU. Bladlock is a fast riser as we head closer to the draft in 3 days. The Titans have a need here with the trading of Jarrell Casey, and Bladlock was someone that showed flashes of dominance and is 2 years removed from an Achilles injury. 30. Green Bay Packers. Jordan Brooks, linebacker, Texas Tech. Brooks is one of the fastest risers as the draft approaches this week. Brooks is someone that has shown a ton of potential in college, and scouts have compared him to Bobby Wagner. The Packers have a need at linebacker with the free agent departure of Blake Martinez, so Brooks would be a great pick. 31. San Francisco 49ers. Trayvon Diggs, corner, Alabama. Diggs falling this far would be a major sale for the Niners, who have a need at the position. Diggs has shown physicality and imposing length to be a top corner on a team. 32. Kansas City Chiefs. Cesar Ruiz, center, Michigan. The Chiefs have options with this pick as they can go anywhere on defense or even offensive line. Ruiz is the best interior offensive lineman in the draft, and the reigning champions could snag him here to potentially come in and start right away. Alrighty. Now my top 10 songs of 2017. Yes, there is one song that is a repeat because the song came out in 2017, although it was popular in 2018 and hit the charts in 2018. My honorable mention, Despacito by Luis Fonsi featuring Daddy Yankee. Alright, but here we go. My top 10 songs of 2017. Number 10, Paris by the Chainsmokers. Good song. The Chainsmokers are pretty big. They were really big a few years ago. This song came out it was recorded in 2016, released in 2017. A synth pop song. Number 9, Mercy by Shawn Mendes. Another really good song by one of the superstars in music right now. Released at the end of 2016, but was popular in 17. 3.5-minute rock song. Number 8, Can't Stop the Feeling, Justin Timberlake. This song was very popular in 2017. It was released in May of 2016, and it came from that DreamWorks movie, Trolls. But this was really big in 2017. Almost a 4-minute disco pop song. Number 7, Look at What You Made Me Do, Taylor Swift. A really dark, un-Taylor-like song that was recorded in 2016 but was released in the summer of 2017. A very dance, dark, electro-pop 3.5-minute song that I thought was great. Number 6, That's What I Like, Bruno Mars. Another great song from 2017, released in January off the album 24K Magic. 3.5 minutes almost, an R&B funk hip hop song. Number 5, What About Us, Pink, a beautiful song released in the summer of 2017 from the album Beautiful Trauma, 4.5 minutes long. Number 4, Body Like a Back Road, Sam Hunt. So a country song, and I've been high on these country songs and these countdowns, and one cracks in at number 4, a 2-minute 40-second song from his album Southside, released in February of 2017. Number 3, Shape of You, Ed Sheeran. Yes, this is the song that's a repeat. This was released in 2017, was popular for a long time, and was very big in the end of the summer of that year and then into 2018 as well. Almost a 4-minute song. Very poppy, kind of dance kind of song. It's really good. And number 2, Closer, Chainsmokers. Another great song by them. I think it's their best song, a 4-minute pop song. It was released in the summer of 2016, but it was very popular in 2017. And number 1, 24K Magic, Bruno Mars. Obviously, the lead single off his album 24K Magic. The song came out at the end of 2016, but was more popular in 17. Almost a 4-minute song, a disco funk R&B dance around kind of song. And that's it for today's show. I'll be back tomorrow with another mock draft, my top 10 movies of 2017, and a lot more. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.